Medicare space.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Medicare Space Live Show. My name is Victoria. I see a little piece of dust and I'm trying to take it off. Welcome to the Medicare Space Live Show. My name is Victoria Cabrera. Thank you so much for joining in this morning. Hopefully you guys can hear us. And we are happy to be here because today's a special day. But before we get into why it is a special day, who do we have here to the right of us today?
Sylvia Toscano. Good morning, San Antonio. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day.
I love Sylvia's intro. Good morning, San Antonio. I've been watching, it's funny because she works here, but I'm just I follow her all the time. Like, oh my God, I'm getting a kick out of her Facebook stories and stuff like that.
Desiree shows them to me all the time.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. We have Sylvia Toscano. And who do we have next to Sylvia Toscano here this morning?
A-Rod.
Remember
we talked about this last time.
That's
We're getting
right.
shorter.
Okay.
Shorter intro.
A-Rod.
Less time. On the intro.
A-Rod, V-Cap, and
Sarge.
Okay.
Sarge.
We got the
Sarge.
nicknames going.
The
We got the
nicknames going.
nicknames. All
Yeah.
right. Desiree, you want to make sure you can hear us, Desiree, out there or wherever you are.
Yeah.
We have her in the corner.
She's our, what is she called? She's our roadie.
She's our roadie. She's our sound person. She makes sure that things are working properly. Good morning, everybody that just joined in. We're happy to be here on this beautiful Friday morning, right? Kind of morning.
Yeah.
Guys, we forgot.
What?
We didn't do mimosas.
That's not cool.
we
man.
No,
didn't
I
do-
can't do it today.
I was promised mimosas. I came to the
I
podcast
forgot.
today with the promise of mimosas.
We didn't do mimosas.
This
I
is
mean, we
not
do have a
okay.
little champagne bottle.
That's true.
We do have some whiskey we could put in our coffee.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
No, I can't.
Okay, yeah. Sylvia
I
says
can't
no.
today.
Well,
Only because I told you I'm going to have to put my dog down today.
Oh,
and if I drink, I'm going to get more emotional.
So then we'll drink
So
for
I-
you. Is that what you're telling me?
So I
I'll
can't.
have a double. I'll have a double.
That's
for you?
very
Yeah.
sad, Sylvia.
So yeah,
I can't
I
even
can't.
think about that because then I just start crying.
I
It's
know.
really, really
I
sad.
made
Yeah,
the appointment. I started crying. They called yesterday to confirm, and I started crying on the phone. So I rather not. Yes.
Yeah, that's probably best that you don't do that. Well, we're sorry about that whole situation because I can't imagine how I would feel doing that. But anyway, guys, sorry. We didn't bring- we-
Well, I
Wait,
said
no,
I'll
I'm
have
sorry.
her drink.
Yeah.
I'll have her drink
Y'all
for
are
me.
welcome.
well,
to drink.
Adriana's off today. She's going to be off. Well,
You're off
we-
today.
we
I'm
might-
not off today. I took half a day.
she's going to take half a
Okay.
day. And I think, well, technically, so we haven't been following through with this, but at our company, every first Friday, we take half the day off. Or no, we leave at 3.
We
No,
leave
we
at
have
3.
happy
We're
hour
supposed to have
first
happy hour.
Friday.
We're supposed to leave at 3 to have happy hour on first Friday.
Yeah.
And she owes us like 2
So
Fridays.
technically, after this, we're gonna leave, have happy hour, and then I'm gonna leave for my half a day.
Yeah, pretty much. She's going to go. Yeah, that makes sense. I like that.
I got my kids. Well, my husband and my oldest went out for a fishing trip.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So I got the babies. The baby usually stays with my husband. So my mom was kind enough to watch her for us. She's got all the kids this morning.
Oh, wow.
And then I was so proud of myself that I timed it perfectly. I knew I had to get up earlier today. And then I already in my head, I'm like, okay, I got to go here. Then I got to go there. Then this, right?
Uh-huh.
So I got up, got ready. Lorenzo helped me with Maddie after I yelled at him about it. Then I got in the car, took Maddie to my mom's, got back on the road, took Alyssa to school, put gas, and then got to work on time. I was here
Dang.
early.
What time did you wake up?
I woke up at 6. and then I
Burning the morning
snoozed.
oil.
Yeah.
I snoozed.
Oh, my God. It's going to rain today. Adriana snoozed today.
I snoozed.
Good morning, Mom.
Good morning.
Good morning,
She's
Josie.
She's always such an avid listener.
Yes,
I
she
love
is.
it. And so are all our other friends. Good morning, everybody. So you're going to be with the kiddos. Your husband's in Corpus having fun.
Yes.
Are they in Corpus or Port?
Rockport. They went to Rockport.
Okay.
Yeah. So we love to go to Rockport. We've been going there. We've been taking them there since they were little. So I decided to we kind of agreed, and my sister was like, I'm so sorry, but she still kind of did something with her. We're trying to, instead of giving our kids like physical gifts, we're trying to give them experiences.
Uh-huh.
And so
That's great.
And so instead of, she wanted like a PlayStation 5. And I was like, you're crazy, girl. I'm not
Yeah,
buying
right.
that. I'll buy myself something.
How much do those
nice.
cost these days?
They're like $1,000.
Are
Ooh.
you serious?
Yes, I'm so
Hey,
serious.
but
Oh
we're
my
quick to say
God.
no to a PlayStation, but yes to an iPhone 13.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. She has
different.
one, and she has one of those. So I told my husband, I said, how about you go with her to Rockport, the two of you? And of course he loves to fish. He could
Mhm.
live out on the water. I took her last year for her 16th birthday.
Mhm.
And so it's a daughter-dad trip.
Yeah.
So
That's
they
nice.
were both very excited and ready to get the heck out of the house this morning.
That.
I can imagine.
Well, I'm thinking, shoot, I might just make a trip down to Corpus
I know.
and not visit my family. Just go to the beach. I'm just joking.
If you go, let me know.
Yeah. So I don't know. I have actually, my family lives in Corpus. I'm from Corpus, and I have not been to the beach, like that beach, in probably like 2 years
I
since
know when
COVID.
Desiree was grilling you the other day about
That's
you don't go to the
right.
beach every. You're like, no, I don't go to the beach.
How
Your
can you
family
not
doesn't go to the
go?
beach. She was so like surprised that you're not like. I guess maybe you take it for granted because you grew up there and you're like over it. And
Mhm.
people like us who grew up in San Antonio and we're not
Well,
so
they
close
want-
to it. We're like, what?
Well,
Like,
I don't get
love it.
excited about the seaweed and the brown water because I don't know. I'm like, you gotta really go down,
well,
like
let's be
down
honest.
the shore.
You're a well-traveled woman who's gone to some pretty nice beaches, I'm sure. So
Yes.
it's like, oh,
Yeah, when you've been to the Cayman Islands and like,
Yes.
and then you could see your toenail polish from the. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. I remember our last trip though, and we're gonna make some more trips, but our last trip was Cancun. I think was with some friends and my Carmenza's family, but that was fun. Like that was really fun. But yes, the beaches, once you start experiencing those kinds of beaches, it's really hard to get in the water in Corpus because you're kind of going in the unknown
Yeah.
because you just don't know what's going to be in there.
You
You
know
know
what
what I
we-
mean?
We just
went-
sit out there.
we
and
went.
drink.
We like Rockport because the water is a lot cleaner. I feel like,
Yeah.
but when we went in February last year, the water was crystal clear. Of course, this is before like all the water, all the people are in there. So I think when you're going, maybe during the winter season,
Yeah.
we talked
Yeah.
about it. I love going now during the colder weather. I feel like there's not as
I
many
love the
people,
cold.
Yeah.
and I just like sitting out there.
Yeah. I love the water. I love the sound of the waves. I love the sand. I love just popping open that sound of the beer going. I love that sound.
That is the best sound.
Hey, that sound could be a Coca-Cola. That sound could be anything, but
Whatever
mine's
you
a,
want it to be,
a nice Modelo Especial
with some salt on the rim,
with some salt or some, what do you call that?
the tahini.
Tahine.
I can't do that.
And I will say out there, I'm not gonna lie, as germophobic as I am, I will say that when I'm out on the beach, I am like, just give me some wipes. Let me wash my hands and give me a beer and pour me that.
Yeah.
It's a different atmosphere. It's a different feeling.
So I think okay, so I think you could put baby powder on and it's supposed to not let you get the sand on you. But then if you're in Corpus, it's very humid, so you start sweating and then you're just
and then you have this paste on you.
you just have all this white paste and I'm like,
start looking a little pasty.
like a little, like I feel like a little fish that's been battered in the batter.
It's time to fry.
That wouldn't be good.
I'll be fried. And then Desiree was saying earlier, like, I love to lay in the sand and have the sun just crisp my skin or whatever. The feel of the, I'm like, man, I'd feel like I'd cook. But when I was in my 20s, I was able to do that. So for those of you guys that are listening right now, we see you listening. Thank you so much for joining in and tuning into us every Friday. Are you guys? What's your favorite beach? Have y'all been to the beach? What's your favorite? I know some of you probably have traveled to the nicest beaches. Some of you maybe live in Galveston. Maybe some live in Corpus, Rockport. What's your favorite beach? Let us know. Let us know what's your go-to beach when you're traveling.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I want a really good beach vacation, just Mexico because it's the closest
so
place.
Close.
Yeah, but you know what? South Padre.
Yes.
South Padre is actually not too
Not
bad.
Yeah, but then you got all those crazy
Cayman,
teenagers.
Betsy.
Yeah.
Good morning, Betsy. Cayman Islands is gorgeous. Have we been to
Yes.
Cayman together?
I don't think so.
Where have we been together? Just Vegas, the good old roulette
The
table.
Vegas.
She called it the Vegas.
The Vegas.
And I
The
was
Vegas.
just telling you this week, when are we going again?
I was telling Carmenza that you were telling me that you want to go again, and
I
she's
wanna
like,
go.
"Let's go." I was like, "All right, well, we could
I'm
go.
ready.
We could take a couple of days off during the
Okay,
week.
let's
Just go. Let's go throw our hand in some roulette
Oh
Yeah,
God.
we got to go.
and then lose
I
our
need-
money on blackjack." because we don't know how to play blackjack.
Oh Lord.
But that one time I was doing really, really good on blackjack because I didn't know what I was doing. And they're like, boom, boom. I was like, oh my God, this is easy. And then they just took all my money at once. I was like, what happened? I was winning. What the
I
heck?
can't play blackjack. The roulette, I can do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So what's going on this week for you guys? What have y'all been up to? What are some wins? What are some losses? Let us know how your week has been going.
You go first.
I go first.
And without,
Yeah.
saying
Let's see. What have I been doing? Helping people apply for the Part B.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's been a big thing. That's been a big thing.
That's a big thing right now.
Have you noticed that there's been really, really slow? Like when you help them with the Part B, or how's the process been?
Well, I'm trying to hit the one man I helped yesterday getting in the website, Social Security.
Mhm.
It was terrible because he doesn't have a cell phone.
Mhm.
It's just his landline. So they had to
Email?
call him, and no, they're going to mail him the code
Yeah.
to get in there.
Oh,
That
they-
is so
that happened to
ridiculous,
one of my
right?
clients,
Yeah.
too.
So it's just this prolonged because we only have to the end of the month for him to apply.
Yeah.
And so he's been calling Social Security to make an appointment, and he's just not getting anybody.
This has been
So-
our battle for the last few months since, it's already, like I said, we said this last week, but we've noticed with Social Security, not just locally, but nationwide. I hear from my friends that live in other states that deal with Medicare, and the Social Security offices are not processing things as fast as they used to, which is an issue because if you have people like we have several
Mhm.
people that do things maybe a month because they think, oh, that's enough time, right?
Yep.
Like you think, oh, I'm going to get it a month out of the way. And really that's kind of not enough time. You
It's
almost
not.
have to do it 3 months before. That's why we recommend doing things, a few months early. But so that's been your experience with
That one. And then I had another one. He worked, so he had to take the paperwork
to his employer.
for the credible coverage.
Mhm.
They had no idea what he was talking about.
Oh
So
my
I had
God.
to call them and speak to the manager. At the end of the day, they understood what we wanted. So
Yeah.
they're going to fill it out,
Mhm.
send it back to me. So it's just, and I've got about 3 or 4 on my books right now that I'm trying to help out.
Yeah.
Mostly 3 of them worked. The other 2 never had it, the
Mm.
Part B. So they're going to get a
They're
little bit of a penalty.
Betsy
but
says they're overloaded. They really need to get back into the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, we agree. We've been experiencing that here in San Antonio quite a bit, and it's really hard because you have to go through the the automated.
Mhm.
And as much as we would love to stay on the phone all day long, we have a lot of work to do. So it's like hard to stay on the phone with our clients, and then oh man, I remember one time I was trying to call Social Security for a friend of mine, and it kept hanging up. Like right
Yes.
when I would get to the place, boop. And so I spent a whole hour just trying to get to the actual place that I was supposed to be, and not even that, like schedule the appointment. And it's so hard.
They
sounds
used to
like
do
me.
the you would call and they would say, do you want us to call you back in an
Mhm,
hour?
mhm.
They don't do that anymore. They
Mm.
stopped that recording. So now you either have to wait on the phone or just call them, early in the morning, but it's the same thing.
I wonder if they're short staffed because, well, as you know, people don't want to get back to
Everybody-
work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are, not wanting to work these days. Like, and even for great pay, it's like, what the heck is going on? It's this weird like thing in the air that people, I don't know. I just like, I'm like, what is there this black hole that people are falling in? Because I don't understand. Like, it's harder than ever to staff people.
That was like me when I was dealing with the whole unemployment
Mhm.
process because they had laid us off. And we were one of those non-essential things.
Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh, I was dying slowly every day because I was like, I don't want to be on unemployment. I want to go back to work.
Yeah.
And they were giving me that extra money, but I was like, I don't care. Like
Mhm.
I'd work for 10 years straight, and the feeling of not going to work
Mhm.
every single day. Like I love my kids, but I also like to work.
Yeah.
And I feel like for myself, it feels that need to be able to give back to the
Mhm.
world and contribute to society. And that was hard. I remember calling into the unemployment office and the same thing. It would get to a certain thing and it would hang up.
Yes.
So like I went the whole time without getting unemployment. And it was like the week before I went back to work, that's when I finally got my unemployment.
I think
So it's
in-
like not the funnest thing. I don't know how people could like do that.
but I
Yeah.
think the extra unemployment stopped.
Oh
like,
yeah, it stopped
it
a long
stopped
time
a
ago.
So,
couple
but
of
that's what I'm
months
trying to
ago.
figure out. Like, I hear a lot of my friends not just in insurance, like in other businesses still we see it at the, like our favorite little restaurants around here. I'm like, there's one waitress or there's one server or whatever. I'm just like, where are all the people going? I'm just trying to figure that out.
How are they surviving?
I don't know. That's
employment.
It's really, really odd. Like, how are these people surviving?
The restaurant I go to.
It is a very, very tough mystery. Or maybe more people are just living together. Like, hey, let's just live in,
Oh my God. Wait, they need to watch, what is it? My roommate on Netflix. Oh my gosh.
Is it that guy that was obsessed with the girl?
So I thought it was just like a one story situation. It's a series, and it says like, it has several stories of like different people who lived with people or whatever, like murdered them, and like,
oh my God,
they just were squatters. It was like worst roommate. Yeah, it was so sad. It was so sad.
And it's real, or is it?
Yeah,
just
it's
a
real.
show?
No, it's real. It's a docu-series on Netflix. Yeah,
no, I can't watch that.
Roommate.
I can't watch that stuff before I go to bed because then I start having dreams. Like,
I was watching while I was working out.
I was watching that Anna Delvey. What's that? Inventing Anna. And I my dreams, I'm talking like her, like Anna Delvey, and I'm just like, why do I want to talk like that? Like, and just like
her voice was irritating in that show. And then I started watching Ozark. I forgot to tell you, I started watching Ozark.
Don't tell me.
But I feel like it's so funny. It's such a drastic difference from the girl who played Anna Delvey, and then she plays that girl, and she's got like this country accent. Good. But I will say that she's very, very good actress. Like she's really, really good.
Yeah, I love her. Yeah, she's kind of like what's that actress? The one that came out of Queen's Gambit. Like she kind of, have you seen Queen's Gambit?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. The girl with the big eyes.
Yeah, like she did really well. So I'm just like, there's a lot of these actresses that do very, very well.
Yeah.
But when I watch shows like that, like murder mysteries and all that, I have to watch those like early in the night. And then something funny after, because then I have these bad dreams, or like
I usually go to sleep to either Seinfeld. Now it's Kim's Convenience.
Yes.
Where do you have time to watch these
Schitt's
shows?
Creek. Well, literally, I have it on background noise because I grew up in a house where everything was super quiet when you went to sleep. Right. Then I met my husband. I moved in with him, and he would fall asleep with the TV on, and it would drive me nuts. I would literally like hit him in the arm, be like, turn off the TV. Well, years and years of this, now I can't go to sleep without the TV on. So I have to have background noise in order to go to sleep.
I can't sleep with any noise.
I have to. And I think it's like my kids, it's a combination of, I think I don't feel like it doesn't feel so quiet either in the house.
Yeah.
So I have to have the TV on.
That makes sense. You know what we have? I invested. It's not that much.
Well, actually, we have like 5 in the office, so you kind of did.
Yeah, that's true. But at home, I purchased a white noise machine, the same ones we have at the office, to drown out kind of the echoes and the noise. And I've been reading about white noise machines and how good they are. And the first time I bought it, and Carmen's is like, I don't know if I'm gonna like that. And then not even like 2 minutes later, she's like,
see, I don't feel like that would work for me.
Yeah, now we can't sleep without it.
I have to have people talking in the background.
No, try the white noise machine. I'm telling you. What do you guys use? Not that I want to know what you go to sleep
Whales.
in. No, it's whiskey. How do you guys get to bed? Like, what are your processes? Like, do you have a white noise machine, or and another thing, Sylvia says she drinks whiskey to go to sleep. I drink a white noise.
It's called a nightcap.
Well, here's another thing. When we moved downtown, we live next to a lot of railroad tracks. So like there's trains that go, and it's like, oh my God, I didn't realize. And I'm a very light sleeper. So when we moved in, I was like, oh my God, don't have any regrets. Right. And you get over it. But now I'm like, babe, I don't think the trains are coming by anymore. She's like, no, you're just so used to it. But then we also have the white noise machine too. And that drowns out. And even Mila knows when to go to sleep. Once that white noise machine comes on, she knows like it's time for her to go to her bed or come to bed.
I have to have noise in the background all the time.
Not me. No noise.
Music, a podcast, TV, like, because I'm so used to all the noise and sounds in the house. Like it's I have 3 kids, so it's like loud and so for me, I have to have something, and I won't even be listening to it. I just have to have it on in the background.
Let us know what you guys use to go to sleep in the comments. We're curious if we're the only crazy ones. So Adriana needs sound in the background. See how different we are? Adriana needs sound in the background. Sylvia wants it to be dead quiet.
And pitch dark.
And I like a white noise machine.
Oh, I go to sleep with my light on too.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Remind me never to stay at your house.
Never.
Well, because
If the apocalypse comes, we're not staying at Adriana's house.
I had the little one, right? She's 4, but I breastfed her. So at night I'd have to have the light on. And then now she hates for the light to be off and I can't get her to sleep in her room. A whole different story for another day. But yeah, so I go to, sometimes I'll just fall asleep and the light's on in my room. I just put the covers on over my head. Like
There's
this.
a whole process. Like I know I was talking when I interviewed Dr. I forget her name. She's with Health Texas, but like 2 years ago, I was able to interview her and we were talking about like sleeping disorders and insomnia and stuff like that. And she was, I mean, obviously giving tips, but like any light that comes in. So like we have those cellular blinds and they're blackout blinds in our room. So really no light comes in. And I had bought like a weighted blanket, but we haven't used that because it's a little too heavy. Like I think I bought it too heavy.
How many
She
pounds
can't get
is that?
out
I bought the 15-pound one, but it's a big blanket. But I think a little bit, couple more pounds less, I think it would have been perfect.
What is the point of that?
It's supposed to help you sleep better,
Yes.
like your anxiety, all that stuff.
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
just bought one for a friend of mine for a birthday, and I went to go weigh them, and they had a 20-pound, and I
No,
thought
that's
this
too heavy.
is way too much.
Yeah.
So that's all they had. So I ordered a 12-pound.
Maybe that's what I need to get Madison to get her to
So-
sleep in her bed. I need to get her a weighted blanket.
They have for
Oh
they
yeah.
have
They have some for kids.
children.
I bought
Yeah.
Mila one.
I'm gonna buy.
I
Oh,
bought a mini one.
Did you ever get her that vest I was telling you about? Remember the one with the fireworks when the fireworks go off? They're like these
Oh,
vests that they sell
Oh.
for dogs so they don't get scared and they don't
It
have
calms them
anxiety.
down.
Yeah, it calms
Yeah.
them down.
I need to get her.
Yeah.
I know we're so silly with our baby, but no. But my mom bought her this really cute rain jacket.
Oh, the yellow
Christmas.
ones.
No, oh, that would have been so cute.
Lady has one. I think she still has it. It's so she looks like those little. It has the hood.
Yeah.
It's adorable,
Just don't-
and the booties.
Oh my God. I need to, we've been wanting to buy
Aw.
booties for. Thank you guys so much for joining in today. Thank you always for joining in every Friday, 10 a.m. Be sure to like the show, share the show, comment. It really helps us spread the show better. I know some of you guys are looking in from YouTube. Some of you guys are watching in on Facebook, maybe even LinkedIn, Twitter, depending on where you're listening from. It's always good to help us out by liking, loving, or better yet, don't like the show, love the show. Because what I've learned from Sandra Gebhardt is that the like button is not an engagement. It's actually just,
we don't want
it's
you to
like,
like you. We want you to love
we
it.
want you to love it. Even if you like put a mad face, that's even better than a like.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you. And like I said, our guys, by the way, I don't know if you guys know, I've been saying this for the last week, but today is actually our official 1-year anniversary.
Yeah.
We started
I can't
this-
believe that.
We
A
start,
year ago.
Hold on, let me do the.
I'm the only one clapping. Why?
What's the noise?
It's a noise. It's a noise. They can't hear because they don't got their things
Wally.
up. Today is our 1-year anniversary when me and Sylvia started this show. I was doing a podcast all by myself. It was kind of boring, to be honest, because I'm just here talking like this, like an NPR. Oh, no offense to NPR. Kind of. I don't know.
NPR.
Really? I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
I would listen to that all the time.
I'm very surprised because
And-
I know you're not very liberal.
And my son too. Years later, I got in his car and he had it on. I'm like, why are you listening to NPR? But he was so used to growing up with me listening all the time. So he just
Aw.
When I met Carmenza, she'd listen to that. I'm like,
I go from one extreme to another extreme.
Well, you got to mix it up a little.
Yeah,
You got to
so-
mix it up. So today is our 1-year anniversary. Thank you, Josie. Thank you, Christy. Hey, Christy, how are you doing? Cheers to you too. We have people from all over listening in. So today is our 1-year anniversary. When Sylvia came to me about a year ago, I was doing the podcast all by myself. It was not even on video. I was just putting content out there. And then she's like, I want to do it too. She's like, but what if we do a live show? And I'm like, okay, like the people on the morning show. And I'm like, okay, Sylvia, that's a commitment. We got to commit. And she's like, yeah. So for a year later, we've been at it for 12 months. And it is a work in progress. If you go back and see our first show last year at March 5th of 2021, You'll see kind of the progress and then Adriana,
we added.
Adriana was added 6 months later when she came on. I believe it was like 6 months, right?
I don't know. You asked you asked me to come in. You asked me to come in on Sylvia was going to be out.
Yeah.
And I thought you were joking.
You're like Cancun.
You're like, hey, you want to be on the podcast? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Yeah. But I thought she was kidding. Like, I didn't think she was serious. And then she had me on here. And then she was like, you want to keep being on here?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, sure. I love it.
We're the dynamic,
for the opportunity.
The dynamic trio. Have a great weekend, Betsy. Thanks for joining in. Yeah, so this is our 1 year anniversary. We were gonna go out for drinks, but I know Sylvia's gonna has some stuff that she has to is that most priority. And we wanted to just thank you guys for always listening in, always joining us, always supporting the show, our avid listeners that are always watching, and even people that I didn't even know watch the show. So that's pretty cool. It's growing. We're gonna continue to grow. We're gonna continue to evolve. We're gonna probably, once we get bigger, we're probably gonna be out of this space and probably to a cooler space. We really want to get to the TV. That's what our goal is. We're gonna get to the TV. That's what, I don't know. Y'all want to get on TV?
Yeah, why not?
Why not? Right?
Why not?
And our goal really was to provide Medicare education in an open format to our seniors, provide resources, provide a community where you can come in, ask questions, live Q&A. You can even call us in where you can ask questions. And it kind of evolved. I know when we first started, our motto was we talk a little bit of insurance and a lot of everything else. And, we understand that we got to get the education out there, but we also understand it's not, kind of Medicare gets a little like, ooh. Yes. So I think it goes, we talk like 15 minutes about ourselves because we are very selfish, right? And then we talk a little bit about insurance, and then everything else is Q&A. We're just chit-chatting with you guys, seeing how your weekends are going. And I think Friday was the perfect time to have the show.
Yes.
Kind of kicks off the weekend. It kind of gets you guys sometimes we give some life advice. Sometimes we just give it to you, shoot it to you straight. I know I'm not. I know you guys are not either. We're not fluffy. We are not fluffy people. Well, we're fluffy. Well, I'm fluffy. I'm fluffy.
No, remember, we're wealthy.
We're wealthy. If you missed last weekend, if you're a little heavier, that means you're wealthy. Yes. So
yes,
it was back in the day with the aristocrats.
And I'm not getting rid of any of my money. I'm going to continue being wealthy.
But I was telling one of my friends, I said, well, don't watch the show if you don't like it, to hear how it is, because we're not by any means we don't sugarcoat things, and we're very much our authentic self. Yes. I'm not trying to be somebody I'm not on the online. I mean, yeah, I cuss a little bit less, but sometimes something slips through the cracks.
Me too.
But we try to get the information to you guys. We always try to tell you some of the struggles that we're dealing with as an agency behind the scenes on the consumer side. For example, what we're dealing with Social Security right now. Our clients need to know that, and our prospects or consumers that want to work with us needs to know what's going on in the background, and also how we do business, right? Like who you're working with and stuff like that. So I'm glad that we have a platform here that you guys can come chat with us live. So I just wanted to thank you guys for always listening in, loving the show. I see that you guys are loving all that. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Anything that you guys want to say how has it been? I mean, how was your experience on this show other than us just screwing around, talking, shooting shit?
I love the show. I think it's great. We're progressing. We're getting people as we're going along. So I enjoy it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Man, you're a woman of few words, aren't you? I love it. I like it. You're one of those people, and I am too, but you're one of those people when they ask you to fill out the survey.
Yeah,
you're just
I hate the survey things.
Very good, very good, very good, very good. And then in the comments, what comments do you have for me? NA.
Yeah. I hate to be put on the spot.
Yeah.
And
how has the show been for you? I know it's been almost a year. Well, it's been a year of the show, but you've been with us pretty much the majority of the show. How's it been for you, Adriana? What's your experience?
Good. I think most of all, I'm grateful to be given this opportunity because I'd always wanted to start my own podcast. I think I told you about it. More along the lines like motherhood and things like that. So I think for me, this is awesome. And I'm always so grateful because you've given me so many opportunities and this is one of them. And so my family's like loves it. They're like, oh my God, it's so awesome. And Victoria's so awesome. And I'm like, I know it's been great. And then just kind of seeing the show progress, like you said, it's definitely going to get bigger.
Yeah.
Bigger and better from here on out.
And some people will join the show. Like I know we're like, somebody made a comment like, yeah, my husband or somebody said like, what is this? What are you even watching? Well, our thing is, we're the Medicare space, but that's the name of our company. But we are all about just, a community here. We want to get information to you that we feel is important, but we don't want to bore you. I'm sorry, NPR. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think it's a danger zone if I'm driving, listening to it. I'm like, and if anybody from NPR is listening, I'm just joking. Don't get your, what's
it's not everybody's cup of tea. And so we just like to stay engaged and make people laugh.
Yes,
we just
exactly.
are very different.
We're just ourselves. So what you guys see here is exactly how we are when we turn off the camera and we go have our drinks at the bar or our whatever chips and salsa.
Or I'm yelling at my kids.
This is exactly how we are. So you won't get anything different. This is who we are. And people that have met me will tell you the same. This is who we are.
Yeah.
Yes.
But we are so lucky to have this opportunity to bring this information to you guys. It's not an easy task to put together and it's a commitment, right? It's kind of like somebody that holds church on Sundays. Like that is a commitment. If you're a pastor or somebody that has to be there for their congregation every Sunday, that's a huge commitment. So for us Fridays, we try to be here every Friday as much as we can. And yes, there are some times when we do want to go play roulette and we might play an old show for you guys. Or we might want to be in the beach. You know what?
We could do it from the beach.
Yeah, we could do it from the beach.
Oh yeah, we should do a show.
We could do it from the beach.
And then we can really have some mimosas.
What are some wins? I'd like to, and I see you guys listening, and I thank you so much for joining in. What are some of the wins that you guys have had this year? It doesn't even have to be big wins. Like it could be, hey, I started going to the gym, or hey, I cut out alcohol, or hey, I got a new job, or hey, I just hit my $10 million marker for my business, or whatever it might be. What is y'all's? Don't be shy. Let us know. We're always loving to hear y'all's wins too. So we always like to celebrate people's wins here. So let us know what those are. We're curious. We want to make sure our listeners are winning, right? We want to make sure they're doing good. And if you need a kick in the butt, we'll kick your butt.
Yes.
Yeah. Just tell us.
Just tell us, hey, Victoria, I'm in a rut. Get me, like anybody that tells me they're in a rut, tell me and I'll get you out of it. And sometimes like I'll call my friends. I'm like, God, I'm having a bad day, guys. In fact, I'm having a bad week. Can you just slap me in the face? Like,
I do that often.
Yeah. Just tell me like how it is. So that way I can get over this, bitching, venting session.
Like yesterday when I told you I was super irritated.
Why were you irritated?
I don't know. I'm a very anxious person. But I will never take it out on people here. I honestly, I feel bad. I take it out on my husband most of the time. And Victoria literally looked at me. She goes, don't do that. And I was like, oh my God, you're right.
She's like, I just take it out on my husband. I'm like, so don't do that.
And I apologized. I wasn't being super mean. I was just being short with him. But
that's even worse. I was telling her that's even worse. Like because again, I've been very blessed. Okay, I have the mind of a woman and also the mind of a man. I can think both ways. Like I have that, and so I am very sensitive, like a woman. But men are sensitive too. But I'm also like I also relate with them because I'm also relate with them because I have to be told when it comes to business, you don't need to tell me. Just I could figure stuff out. But it's easier if somebody tells you A, B, C, D, right? And then I could do that. But when it comes to like the home and you're with you and your spouse, I'm very much like my brothers-in-laws. Like you got to tell me how you like it done and what you like what I need to do. And I'll do it exactly like that. Cause I don't want to mess things up. So for you, I was telling you like, be nice. You can't be short. That's just as bad as yelling.
Like, take your happy pills.
Yeah.
I used to do the silent treatment with my kids.
That's the worst.
They hated it. But my dad used to do it to us. And my brother later on, I found out my brother used to do it to his wife and his children too.
See,
He
I'm really
never told
quiet when I
me.
have a lot to think about. So, like when I'm quiet, because I always talk and I'm a very outspoken person. When I'm quiet, that's usually because I have a lot on my mind and I'm like trying to sort it out. And so every time somebody's like, "What's wrong? Are you mad? Are you upset?" I'm like, "No." But Lorenzo's always like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Nothing." My kids are the same way. I'm like, "Nothing. I just have a lot on my mind." So that's how I process it.
Well, you should say that. You should say nothing.
Now everybody knows. You heard it here.
Yeah, just say nothing. I just have a lot on my mind and I'm just trying to process things. And then we can say, oh, I understand.
Yeah.
Is there anything
Yeah,
that I
Desiree, last time I came in, she's like, "What's wrong with you? Are you in a bad mood?" I was like, "No, I'm not. I'm not in a bad mood. I just when I have a lot to do, I'm like either all or nothing. I'm like, and so that's something that I work on too constantly is trying to figure out like a middle ground and trying to break those unhealthy habits that were learned along the way, right? That are picked up, unfortunately, right? It's like, so just trying to be like better and acknowledging it. Like yesterday, I probably would have never admitted before like that I was irritated.
Oh, yeah. But we know. But we know. Like, Desiree will come in the office and like, make eyeballs and I'll make eyeballs back. I'm like,
and one thing though, I will say I'm extremely professional. I will never ever take it out on my clients. I'm always extremely professional and always handle my business. And so that's why I'm just like,
that is very true.
I have
She'll just take it out
I'm
on
very
Desiree.
good at compartmentalizing everything. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. So that's something also that I'm trying to work on.
Not me. You'll see it written all over my face. That's why if I'm having a really bad day, I don't come to work. I'm just like,
I'm the same way. It's all in my face.
Yeah.
People know if I'm mad.
Well, I do
or
everything over the
something.
phone so nobody can see my face.
That's true. You see, you're lucky.
I could be like, but yeah, no, that's one thing I think definitely for everybody. I think it's like mental health awareness month this month.
Oh,
or
is
something.
it?
I'm not too sure. There's a lot of things going on this month.
There's a lot of awareness.
There was a fundraiser that's going on at our favorite place at Rebecca Creek where they're raising funds for like mental health for people that are in the like paramedics, nurses, and things like that. Mental health is really near and dear to my heart. I feel like it's something that's not spoken about as often, and people are really like
it's a stigma.
Yeah, it's a stigma. Like it's like, oh my God, you see a therapist, or oh my God, you do this. And so like for me, I think that's the most important thing. I think as a mom, as a person who works here, as a human being, as a wife, for me, I have to take care of myself first so that I can be good for my family.
Yeah.
So taking care of those things, I think, is so important for sure. You know what they say, when you're on a plane and you got your kid with you, you got to put your jacket on first. Your mask on first before you put your child on, because if you can't save yourself, you can't take care of them.
Right. Yeah.
So I've heard that, said a lot. So, kind of going into that, but yeah, for sure. I think mental health is extremely important in taking care of.
Right.
So do whatever it is you need to do, obviously in healthy ways, right? If it's something bad, obviously that's not good, but whether that's running or, talking to your friends, like you said, you have really good sounding boards. People that you can go to and kind of vent to,
right,
and them not judge you, but kind of give you a kick in the butt.
Yes, that is true. Yeah. That is true. And I also have a bottle of wine, but that's not that's not the best. To it? Well, it depends what kind of day it is. If it's really bad, I'm like, I love you.
You get a bigger glass and then you just pour it all in there.
No, like Adriana said, don't. Sometimes you just need a glass of wine. And it's something simple, but something more chronic. Yeah, that's not the best way to go, because you're not going to feel better the next day. I agree. I feel like too, like for those of you that work with seniors, or that are that are a senior, or that are over the age of 50, or I don't even consider that a senior, to be honest. But we deal a lot with the senior population just because we do a lot of Medicare. We help them with their Medicare. And what I have noticed, even outside of COVID, what we had noticed was when a senior would retire from work, we noticed that their health was kind of like going down a little bit from when I'd go from 1 year and they're like, yay, I'm retiring. And then I'd go the next year to their house and I'd renew their policy, or we'd just kind of review things again. It was kind of like day and night. Like, I'm like, they looked a little older, to be honest. And I would ask them, well, what are you doing? Are you taking advantage of the gym? Are you taking advantage of going to the senior center? Are you taking advantage of these things? And they were like, no, I'm just kind of watching TV all day.
And cue the
Yes.
senior centers.
Yes.
And that's where the senior centers come in.
And you know what? You're so right, because
Mm-hmm.
there was a lot of seniors that I hadn't seen in over a year.
Mm.
And it's getting busier every day, every week that I go. And there's certain seniors that I've looked at and I thought, oh my God,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like in the last year or two, they've gone downhill.
Yeah.
Their weight and just the way they walk. And I'm hoping that now that they're going back, they'll go get back in the swing of things.
Yeah.
But
And even just finding, because I could take this advice, because like I haven't been at the gym in a while, since like probably I don't know, 6 months, and it does change your mental health. It really does, because I know when I'm working out, I'm like, yes, and I'm nothing bothers me, and I'm on top of the world, and then when I'm not, I'm just like, screw you, and like I'm just like, oh,
But it's like with everything good, even when you work out, somebody once told me, you can't run from your problems. Like I picked up, so I was telling somebody something and I said, oh yeah, I started running again. They're like, you can't run from your problems, right? Because I was using that, right? And so it does work, but if you're not dealing with whatever the problem or issue is, it's going to fester in other ways. So it manifests its way in other ways, and it's going to come up, and it's like, oh, it comes up, and sometimes you're taking it on the wrong people.
And you have to deal with it.
You know what is a big thing? You bring up a good point. Well, aside from that, like you can't run for your problems. So what do you do? Right? What do you do? Well, you need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't have people to talk to that could just be my lend their ear or lend their shoulder or whatever, right? You kind of like keep that in, and then at some point it's like a pressure cooker, right? But what I think when growing up, because I know in our house, well, not in our household, but just like I feel like growing up, like it was such, like you said, such a stigma. Like you couldn't, if you talk to somebody, you're crazy, or if you talk to somebody, that's bad or whatever, right? Where now I'm like, dude, shoot, everybody should have their own personal little counselor.
Yeah, like a therapist is it's a must. It's almost like maybe not necessarily that you had to have gone through something traumatic, but it's like a person that's not really in your family, because sometimes what ends up happening when you talk to your family, they might tell you like, oh my God, you're being so dramatic.
Yes, that's
or
the thing.
They might do the opposite, right? So it's somebody that's not like gonna
a neutral party,
right?
It's
so
not
that's
gonna
gonna tell
judge.
you whether that's good or bad for you. And really, I told this to Desiree the other day. I'm like, a lot of the times we know what we have to do, we just don't want to do it.
Yeah. like last week I mentioned, like when people want to hear the truth, they come to me, and when they don't come to me. Okay, so this is very true on any means. Okay, so like for example, even me, right, or you guys, when you go to a family member, a friend, you know that they're going to kind of be on your side. So it's not really a neutral party, or maybe they might be more harder on you, which is not necessarily
and then you're
good.
not going to like it, and you're going to be mad.
Yeah. So, but if you talk to a neutral party, right? They don't have you are in the best interest, but they're not also going to sugarcoat things for you. They're going to kind of dig deeper. That being said, I don't know if it's always good to go to a friend or family member to talk to, because you're always going to go to the person that you want to hear. Like if Desiree wants to come here, like if she wants to get the day off, she's going to come to me, not Adriana, right?
No.
Because Adriana's going to be like, no, get back to work. And I'm going to be like, all right, let's go, So you always know, like when you're dealing with something, you kind of seek to go to what you want to hear.
It's like mom and dad, right? It's like good guy, bad guy.
You know,
you
who
go
to
to
ask.
mom for, like the kids know that they won't come to me for stuff because I'm the bad guy. I'm like, no, you can't do that. Did you do your chores? If they go to their dad's like, well, what did your mom say? I'm like, oh, come on, back me up here.
Come on.
But yeah, no,
there's always
it's true.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's good. I'm glad y'all brought that up, because that is important for people, especially right now more than ever. There's a lot going on, and I think people just they get on social media, they see all this stuff, and you can get soaked in, and then but yeah, I think having just a neutral party to talk to,
there's pros and cons of social media, right? I was listening to somebody the other day. It was a podcast, and they were talking about the statistics, right? So like it's really bad for certain age groups, but it's really good too, because it keeps people in touch with other people.
Mhm.
Like things like this, right? Where you're getting information that's extremely important to you, in other ways where maybe you're maybe kind of consuming the wrong information
Mhm.
or
Right.
information that's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
I love it. And I think it's so awesome. Like for the senior centers, when Desiree went with Sylvia, and they seemed like they were just like, it gives them something to look forward to. And then with COVID and all these things, it's a lot of people were at home cooped up and not having that social
Yeah.
interaction. And it goes to show how extremely important it is, you know, for people who are in that age group, for the seniors, to make sure they're having something. Cause like you said, they're not working anymore. Their kids are grown up. Some of them, unfortunately, their kids don't go and visit them. So it's like, what else are they doing?
Yeah. And for those of you kids that don't visit, you know, like get better, because when I used to be, I would see this more in the field. You see a lot more in the field versus over the phone. You hear a lot over the phone too, but you see more in the field, and you're able to pick up, like, where I've had clients be like, oh, you know, I just should leave this to you because my daughter never comes visit me and they only come for me for money or all. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, that's so sad. You work your whole life to make sure that your kids are good, and then they can't even go visit you for a little bit, or to pick you up, take you to the groceries or whatever. Right. So that's wrong. Like, I think if you guys are doing that, kind of make a little bit better of an effort. But you see more in the house, and you see the difference from when they were working to now. So I don't know where this whole thing, you got to retire at this age, comes from, because I don't think I'm going to stop working until I'm like 90 or something.
Yeah, me too.
I'm the same way. I'm not going to, you know.
Yeah, I never see you stop working.
I don't either.
I'll do something.
Yeah,
you know.
She'll be knitting for us here.
She'll be in her deathbed.
Truck.
She'll be in her deathbed still writing out policies.
Yes.
She should do a food truck.
I want a food truck. I've been looking at a couple of food trucks.
Yes, you should. Yeah. So if you guys just joined in, we were just talking a lot about different things, mental health a little bit, kind of when people retire, and now health is a little bit different. Okay. Cause I've been to different areas of Texas. I've been to where it's very, very low income, and I've been where it's very, very high income, where there's racquetball and line dancing and all this other stuff. Right. So if you have the means, then you're probably not going to deal with the same things somebody does when they don't have the means, because you can take trips. You can go live in, you know, Ecuador for 6 months. You can go to the pay tennis and play racquetball and all these things, right? Pickleball now. And that's different because you have something to do. You're on a routine. I'm talking to the people that kind of don't have anything. So like, before you retire, you got to ask yourself, what's the plan?
Yeah.
You're just going to sit on the couch all day and watch. Is Jerry Springer still on?
I have no idea.
Okay, watch The View.
I'm sure Days of Our Lives is still on, right?
You ladies
General
are going
Hospital?
to do the podcast in your 80s. Oh yeah, we're going to do the pod. Andrea says you ladies are going to do the podcast in your 80s. Oh yeah, we could talk, and by then it'll probably be worse because I already talk a lot. So you know how you get older and you start talking.
We'll
even
start
more?
talking about something and then talk about something else, and maybe it won't make any sense. And you'll be like, "What the heck were they talking about?"
We'll come in with our walker.
Yeah, we'll have to keep notes at that point.
By then, the metaverse will be like big time, and we'll be like there in the AI world, like in the metaverse world, talking to you guys on your couch and stuff like that. But yeah, I just feel like, I think when you're retiring, it's a great thing. You've worked hard your whole freaking life. Why not? But you need to have a plan.
Yeah, like volunteer. I would say probably a big thing that I feel, and maybe I'm speaking here, it's probably been proven. I'm pretty sure I've heard it somewhere, where volunteering and helping others makes you feel good. So it makes you feel like you're doing something. So maybe those people who may not have the means to do those kinds of things could look at other ways. Like there's a lot of opportunities to volunteer here in the city, like at the food bank, they're always needing help, gardening, or maybe, like the younger kids, right? Adopting a senior, they have like adopt a kid where you can go and visit them. I've always loved having those conversations because, again, we've said it before, there's so much that you can learn from. They have so much knowledge and so much wisdom that they can pass down to you. Yeah. And they have so much to teach. And if they don't have anybody, that dies with them. And how sad is that? So I think that it's so important that we do engage with them and keep those traditions alive and kind of get to know the things that they went through so that we can pass those things down to our kids.
Yeah. We're starting to work on a storytelling at the senior center.
Oh, I
that's
like
awesome.
So
that.
they'll get together and just talk because, like my daughters always tell me stories, and my nieces ask me stories about my grandmother
Mhm.
and my grandfather, and so I love to tell them all these stories.
That's awesome.
And I once I'm gone, if I never tell them, who's gonna tell them?
They're gonna die with you,
It's
yeah.
gonna die with me.
Mm.
And so it's the same thing with the senior center. With my seniors, I'm always asking them about when they were young and what they did and stuff.
Mm.
And a lot of them don't talk to their kids or their grandkids.
Yeah.
And so when they tell me these stories, I can see them light up, like they get excited. They're finally telling some story that they haven't told in about 20, 30 years of them growing up.
Mhm, mhm.
So I want to bring that,
Yeah,
have a
that's-
get together and just have them talk about their lives growing up. And
Mhm.
so
I like that. It's kind of like a little community group.
Mhm.
That's cool. I like that a lot, a lot. Yeah, because sad to say, but people like to talk about themselves or like to talk about the things they did or like to
Yeah.
talk in general.
Mhm.
Most people do. There's some shy people out there, but most people like to talk, and to give them a voice would be that'd be cool if we could have like one senior a month on the show just telling us about their stories, like
Yeah.
kind of like your
Mhm.
storytelling. And then if you were like, oh wow, you need to say that to more people, then we
Mhm.
can get them on the show and bring
Mhm.
them here. That would be really, really cool. I would like that a lot.
Yes.
But this is a platform to kind of have a voice. If you guys have questions, concerns, comments, obviously certain things we don't want to discuss, but any questions, comments, concerns, if we can help you in any way, if you're feeling down and out and you need a kick in the butt, we're happy to give that to you. Again, you're not going to hear fluffy stuff on this show. You're probably going to laugh, cry, and probably hear what you don't want to hear sometimes on the show, because we just kind of go that way sometimes. Anything that you guys want to leave? I mean, I know we're coming up to that hour marker, but it is 10:53. I always have to this mic is so good that I want to talk like a radio commentator. Well, how was your weekend going, guys? Like, we want to hear from you. Andrea says we're going to be doing the podcast till we're 80. Yes, of course we are. What do you guys think? Y'all want to
yes.
do it when we're
Oh,
80?
absolutely.
My dad used to say, I'm going to work until I die.
Mm-hmm.
And he pretty much did.
Some people
look
look at that as a bad thing, but I think if you are content, and maybe some people don't do it for the money, some people have to do
Yeah.
it for the money because they
Mhm.
don't have other means, they don't have people to help them.
Mhm.
But like I told you, when I was when they shut everything down and they had laid us off, I was so miserable. My husband continued to work every day, and of course I had set a routine every day with the girls, and they were
Mhm.
happy. He didn't even want me to go back to work. I was like, you're crazy, I want to go back to work. He's like, but I love that you're here. And I was like, no, I think for me it's very fulfilling to be able to show my daughters that I can go to work every day and that I'm contributing to society and that I'm
Mhm.
making a difference in the world, and to show them that you can,
Mhm.
that you can do it. I have 3 daughters. I go to work. My husband works as well, and we work opposite schedules, and
That's really
Very,
tough.
very
That's very
thankful.
commendable. Yeah.
thank you. We're very thankful that we have always figured out a way to kind of make it work. And
Mhm.
it's not always been the easiest, but I'd say for me, I'm the same way. I'm going to be working until I'm very old. If it's not doing actual work, it's going to be like volunteering or some kind of where I can continue to do something and stay active.
Mhm,
Yes.
mhm.
For sure.
And for those of you youngins that are listening, don't take advantage of not, of a job or working, because you guys have all the energy in the world.
Yes.
Put it to use.
And you have time to mess up. Okay. I'm going to give you permission to mess up when you're young. I mean, unless your parents are listening, then don't listen to me. But
And to those young people who make fun of the older people, you're going to be there one day.
Yes.
Ha ha
we
ha.
all are going to
So-
be
you know
there.
what's really sad is when I was watching the Super Bowl, I think I mentioned this, and now lately when I watch sports, because I was like, oh my God, these guys look so young. And when I was watching football, I was like, oh my God, those are old guys, But now I'm like that older person. I'm like, oh, look at these young whippersnappers. Whippersnappers.
Well, I remember when Brett Favre was playing past 40. Like, I remember it being such a big deal because you're not that old playing in the NFL. So I remember thinking oh my God, he's so old. Like, that's crazy. And now you have more football players playing past their 40s. So yeah, it's kind of like you look at it and we have Desiree in the office and she's younger than all of us. And I look at her and I hear her stories and I'm just like,
she'll say, "Oh yeah, they're old." I'm like, "How old are they?" 40. I'm like,
they're young.
She tells me the other day, we're driving. She goes, I can't believe I know somebody that was alive in the 70s with the hippies and stuff.
Oh my God, I can't with her sometimes. She kills
like,
me.
oh my God.
I like,
was she talking about you?
Yes, she's talking about me. She goes, I can't believe I know somebody that was alive in the 70s. And did you, was it the hippies? Were you a hippie? And what kind of music were you listening to? She's going on and on and on. I turn around, I look at her, I'm like,
I could see Sylvia listening to
I
like
would
the
have opened the car
Kings.
door and
so
kicked
she
her
was
out.
asking me all these I
You're
was telling her
walking.
stories.
Were you? In
Yeah.
Like what like Gypsy Kings and all that stuff?
No, Gypsy Kings is not from the 70s.
They're
But
80s.
like, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I was a hippie. She was asking me, do you have any pictures?
Did you go to Woodstock?
And no, I did go to Woodstock. I was a
Oh.
little younger, but yeah, I was a hippie. I was telling her what my clothes were.
Your bell bottoms.
Yeah, my bell bottoms.
Did you have
hip
the Farrah Fawcett
huggers.
haircut?
Yes, my hip
that was
huggers.
kinda-
We need to see pictures, Sylvia.
So
Yeah.
I was
see
telling her I have a
pictures.
picture. I have a hip huggers. I've got a little blouse and I'm going like this. And I have a headband on, me and my sister.
Aw.
You know what we're gonna do is I want to get pictures from all of you guys when you were in your younger years.
Oh God.
And then we want to post them so we can show them on the
We
on
should.
here on the
That
screen
would be
over
funny.
here.
Well, it's like me telling my kids about a payphone. They're like, a payphone? What's a payphone? I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't know what it's crazy. Like how much I feel like technology has advanced so much from the time that we were born to now. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I can't imagine what it feels like for people who were born during that time
I
to
know.
now. It's like, what the heck? It's like
Yeah.
crazy.
I used to think I was so cool with my Motorola beeper.
Oh,
Maroon.
that's right.
Motorola beeper pager had I little clipped there.
Oh, that's funny.
The
That
only
was
one that
cool.
would page me was like one of my best friends in high school and my mom, because she'd be like, "Where are like she?" I knew when I needed to call her because she would page me just to let
okay.
her know where I was.
Oh, okay.
Because she would, she wasn't too strict with me. She just says, "You're gonna do it anyway, so may as well just tell me where you're at." And I would tell her, "Mom, I'm at this party," or "Mom, I'm gonna go here," or "Mom," and she always knew where I was at. Versus back then is harder because we didn't have cell phones.
Yeah.
So like
Mhm.
at least right now you could ping them and track them and all that
Yeah, you
stuff.
can do a lot
No,
of stuff.
exactly.
There's a lot
where
of
they
little
are.
Yeah.
tidbits. Like basically there's no privacy anymore.
No, there's
at
not.
all.
Man, sorry, Brooke.
No, well, so I have an iPhone, she has an iPhone, and the middle child has an iPhone. My husband does not have an iPhone. He hates iPhones. So I didn't know that they were able to track me.
Mm.
And
Oh, so they're
so
tracking you.
They were tracking me, and she was like, "Where are you at?" I was like, "None of your business." And she's like tracking me, so I turned off my location, and she got all mad. She's like, "Why did you turn off your location for, Mom?" I'm like, "Because I don't need you to know where I'm at. It's none of
That's
your
where
business."
My daughter is.
Oh.
And I didn't know until you and I met you at that bar downtown. They were playing like Flocorico.
Flocorico.
Yeah, or I don't know.
Carmen de la Gaia?
Yes,
Okay.
when we went there. And I didn't know my daughter was tracking me. And so I
Oh.
got there, it was like 11:30, 12 o'clock. And she called me. She's like, "Where you at?" I'm like,
It's like the child becomes
yes.
a parent.
I'm like, I'm going to the store. She goes, "No, you're at some place called Carmen, whatever. What are you doing there? It's 12 o'clock. You should be at home, Mom. You should be going out this late," because she treats me like a
child.
Yes, like a child. There you go.
Well,
So I had to take her off. I'm like,
and Stephanie knows that when she's with me, it's probably we're
Yes.
probably up to no good. But she knows we're gonna be safe because I am all
Yeah.
about not driving, and we're gonna
Yes,
take an Uber and
You're
all this
safe.
stuff.
Yes, you are.
so I took her off. She can't track me anymore.
You took off your location.
Yes, I
I did the
took
same
off
thing
my
too.
location. So because she was always following, "Where are you going? What are you doing? What time are you going home?" I'm like, "Leave me alone, please."
It works though because me and Sylvia, when we used to work in the field together, we always had our spot, and we would meet at Outback.
Mhm.
We'd be like, "Hey, you want to meet at the spot?" I was like, "Yeah." So we'd meet at Outback, have our wine, have our drinks, and we'd have our sushi. What was it?
Tuna tartare.
No, not tuna tartare. It was like the tuna. It was like is it tuna tartare?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And we'd have that and our little salad or whatever. And that's where we always met. But when she would say, I'm on my way. And I'm like, let me look to see where she's
Liar.
at. All right. She's only 5
Yeah,
minutes
because we
away.
had each other on our phones.
Especially for those of you that are listening that do work with seniors or are on Medicare field. When I was in the field, we go everywhere. I mean, I would drive everywhere, didn't matter where. And in the nighttime too, we'd work, especially during annual enrollment, we'd work from sun up to sundown. And so I told Sylvia, like, we need to start tracking each other, because there would be times where I would text Sylvia like, hey, I'm going into this house, looks a little shady. If I don't answer in an hour and a half, because we always knew our appointments could last an hour and a half, come look for me. Here's the address, right? And so, of course, we text, hey, out of the house, or hey, and so it got old after a while. So I'm like, here, we're going to have this thing so you know where I'm at and I know where you're at. And just text me like, hey, just check, at this house, at this weird house or whatever, check.
That's like a friend of mine who used to go on
dates.
Is it Tinder?
Oh, yeah.
And I'd be like, what are you doing? Like, you don't even know this person. He's like, it's okay. I sent the location to my friend, so they'll know where I'm at. I'm like, yeah, you need to, because what if something happens?
Dude, I remember one time, I don't know if it was like, I don't know, what's that placebo effect?
What are you talking about? Like,
okay, so I went to a client's house one time and the lady was little, and I did the one thing you're not supposed to do.
You drank something.
Drank some tea.
Oh, so you thought you thought you had drank something like
so
poisonous?
I remember drinking the tea, and this was in Georgetown, and it was a nice area.
Yeah.
But the lady was a little off. Okay. And I'm like, well, I'm in a nice neighborhood, whatever. Well, and then I walk in and there's incense and all this stuff. And I remember being and I took the sip of the tea. It was a hot tea. And I took a sip of the tea, and not even like 5 minutes later, I start kind of like, when you feel like you're going to fall asleep. And I was like,
maybe she gave you some chamomile tea.
No. And but then I started feeling like, when your heart and I don't know if it was anxiety. I was like, oh my God.
You're probably having an anxiety attack.
Huh?
You're probably having an anxiety attack or a panic attack from the thought of you having drank something.
So then I was like, oh gosh, like I told her some excuse. I had to get out of there because I got a call. And then I drove down the street in my car, remember, because I was like, I can't drive like this. So I drove down the street just to let her know I drove down the street. And then after like a few minutes, it went away. But I'm like, dude.
It's so super scary. And this just doesn't go for the young kids. This goes for the seniors too. Like horrible things have happened where they've been taken advantage of.
Yeah.
If you're going out, do not leave your drink unattended. Don't take drinks from strangers. That's super scary. I would have freaked out. I will say that's one thing about like when we go out, even with like my husband will go out, my husband and my sister, and we're always like watching each other's drinks. We're like, you got to cover the drinks up, or you got to, because there's so many different things now that people just pass by and just go,
yeah. I'm like, anybody want to put something in my drink?
I feel like having fun tonight. You want to help me out?
Anybody to the bathroom? I'm leaving my drink
open.
Right
I am going to the restroom. I'm going to leave my drink right there for you.
Gentlemen, I'm going to the bathroom.
No, it's not funny, guys.
It's not funny.
I mean, we're making fun of something serious, but we're being serious too.
Yes,
like, watch your drinks.
Well, and this goes for seniors too. I've heard some horror stories, really bad, really, really sad stories, like where I'm there and they told me stuff that has happened, like with people taking advantage of them, like scams, all kinds of stuff. Like, and so just also like, and that's why I kind of like the over the phone stuff, because one, you're safe, and then
both safe.
You're both safe. Yeah. So like even more now than ever, because seniors are so open to you coming to their house because they want that, that
interaction.
But like you just never know.
I had an appointment 2 weeks ago, and I got to the senior complex, and I didn't know where to park, so I finally parked, and I'm looking for her address. And I get to her apartment, and I knock, and I'm like, "Hi, Miss X," and she's like, "Hi," and I go, "It's Sylvia." She goes, "Oh, did we have an appointment? I go, yes, we had it at 2. She goes, come in. So I sat down and she went to the other room. She put her dog away and I sit down, and I had never met her before or anything. So I didn't know who she was. And then she comes, she sits down, she goes, so what are you here for? And I'm like, are you Miss X? She goes, yes. And I'm like, we had an appointment. It wasn't, I shouldn't have been there. It was another Miss X. I was in the wrong apartment.
Oh my God.
But she let me into her house.
And
I sat
serial
down.
killer.
Yes. And I sat down and she offered me something to drink. And then when I realized I'm at the wrong apartment, and I'm like, I'm sorry, no, it's not you. And so anyway, I called the
right
other lady,
person,
and she had given me the wrong apartment.
Oh, wow.
But I was like, she just allowed me into her house.
There's
Yeah.
a murder.
She
There's
had
a murder
idea who I
podcast
was or anything.
that I listen to, and they're always like, stay weird and be rude and stay weird, because sometimes, so like it also has to do, they talk a lot about this, about how women are taught to be polite. If you're rude, you're a, you know what? So it's like, oh, you're being rude. And I'm like, I don't give a crap if you think I'm rude, but I'm not going to let you near me, and you're not going to come next to me. So it's better to be a B than to be so like welcoming that they're going to just take advantage of you. So be weird and be rude. Be a B. So if that's what they want to call it, but to keep you safe. Because you don't ever know. It's scary.
I know. I walked out, I'm like, oh my God.
That is
I
so
mean, I
true.
wasn't afraid, but I kept thinking, these poor seniors, they just let anybody go in their house, you know?
Think
She had
about
no
Desiree.
idea who I was.
Desiree at the gas station a couple weeks ago, and she's telling me somebody asked her for money. She gave him like the craziest look, like, I don't have any money. I only have money for gas. And I'm like laughing my butt off, because I'm like, oh my God, that's it. That's what you should be doing. Good girl. Great.
I remember well, this is off the topic, but kind of on the topic, but so I told you we live downtown, and it's like one street is like really, really nice, and then you go over 2 streets and it's kind of shady, right? So our little HEB, there was a shooting there one time, and now Carmen's is like, I'm not going there. So she wanted to go to another one. So I'm like, okay, let's go to the one next to the annex on Rocio, right? Which is not any better. And she's like, and of course, my wife is tall and thin, and she's
very model.
Mary model-esque and graceful, and like, you know, she's J. Crew model. I told her she looks like a J. Crew model. And she's like, babe, like she was legitimately scared. She's like, babe, okay, this is not a very nice hotel. I mean, a very nice HB. What do I do? It's like, anytime you go to a crazy part of town, you just act crazy.
That's right.
Just act crazy. Just act like you fit in.
Like you belong.
And so like
near me.
So like when guys are like whistling at you or whatever, you just look at them like you're crazy, like, or you're just crazy. Like she's like, okay. She's like,
hey, she throws her scarf and she throws it back.
She's like, how do I act crazy? I was like, oh my God, you're acting crazy right now.
Oh, that's funny. That's
I want to sell Medicare over the phone. Is that possible? What agency do you recommend? I have only Life and Health. I can't see your name. I think you're on YouTube. There's quite a bit of agencies we can recommend. If you're in Texas, we might be able to help you with that. But yes, you absolutely can sell Medicare over the phone, but there's a lot more. What a lot of people, I can't see your name, so I'm just responding. It says new agent that had a question. I only sell life and PNC. So yes, you can sell Medicare over the phone. We do it every single day. And we also do it in person. Sylvia's more in person. Adriana does it more on the phone, and we have a team of agents that do it in the field too. But yes, you can do it over the phone. Depending on what state you're in, let me know. Message me. My name is Victoria Cabrera. You can message me directly, and I could try to direct you in the right way. We have friends all over the nation. Oh, okay. So you're in Arizona. Yeah. So I know somebody that could, we're not technically taking agents in Arizona. We only work in Texas, but I have the perfect person for you. So I'll get you their information. But yes, and I'll kind of give you some tips and tricks on what to ask the agencies that you want to work with. But yes, you can do it over the phone. We do it over the phone every day. We actually love it. I think Adriana actually said, because she's done some home appointments and had people come to the office, and she's like, I don't want to be out there. I want to be here because it's easier. It's harder but easier. There, it has its pros and cons, but you can absolutely do things over the phone.
Yes.
But thank you so much for supporting the channel and watching in. We look forward to talking to you. I know we're coming up to that. Whoa, it's 11:11. Make a wish, everybody.
11:11.
Okay. Made a wish. All right. So that being said, guys, do you guys have anything more you want to add? I know we went a little over. We've been going a little over just because I know we get a lot more viewers kind of around this time.
So what you were saying about Carmenza, you're right. You got to act crazy. And I always tell people this. I tell my kids this. I'm like, people can smell fear.
Oh yeah.
So when you're scared and you're giving that off, it's just like a horse or dogs. They can sense those things. They're very smart. So if you act like you're scared, I used to work in a side of town that was not the best. And I would tell people, I was like, you won't start nothing, there won't be nothing. Like that's a saying on that side of town. So, I mean, you just got to mind your business but also stay stern. Like, don't be a pushover and don't be like crazy, right? Like start cursing and, do crazy stuff, but just be like stern. And I always was like that. And I feel like people took me more seriously than if I was like, oh, okay.
Show no fear.
Yeah. Show no fear. So be stern and be, mean what you're saying, but just don't be mean about it.
Yeah.
There's some interesting people out there. I was picking up a fruit tray the other day, La Paletera in Corpus, and I was waiting, and poor lady, I mean, she was a little bit older, and I was waiting there, and there was nobody. It was a big store, nobody in the store. And I'm waiting there, and she's kind of stands right next to me. And I'm like, and I kind of take a few steps back and kind of, move over. And then she's again next to me again. And I'm like, what's going on here? Why does she keep coming next to me? Right. So then I go outside to let my sister know, hey, they're taking a while on the thing. And then I go back in, and again, she goes right next to me, stands right by me. And I'm like, I have no idea what's going on. Am I being pranked? Like, when they do those things, like,
did you say hi to her or anything?
Huh?
Did you say hello to her?
Well, at the end, then she had all these things. And then I opened the door and I asked her if she needed help or whatever, but she didn't say anything. She didn't tell me anything. Like, it was just like, she just wanted to sit like stand right next to me.
Maybe you smell good. She wanted to sniff you.
She had a mask on. So I don't know.
Well,
yeah.
Some of those masks don't work.
Yeah, so she's yeah. Y'all are X'd off the shade.
Well, no, they just came out with the study. It was an actual article about the cloth mask.
Oh, yeah. Obviously,
so she was wearing a cloth mask.
Yeah,
she could still smell you.
I don't know, but my point of the story is that there's some odd, interesting characters out there, and you just can't. But I was like going back to that story where some people fell out of place. I'm like, you just got to act the part. Like, honestly, I'm my own. I don't care if I'm a bunch of millionaires in the room. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna, but
you're
I'm always
a chameleon.
I'm not a chameleon because I'm always gonna be myself, but I'm not gonna act like I'm just always myself.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that you stop being who you are. A chameleon's going to be a chameleon no matter what. It just changes during its environment. So I remember when I would train people. So depending on where I was at, I was still going to be myself, but I was going to act and be proper or maybe talk a certain way if I was around certain people, but I'm still myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm still going to maybe throw an F-bomb every now and then. Right.
Yeah.
But kind of staying true to myself, but also knowing that I'm not going to wear like, there's certain golf courses where you have to wear a polo shirt. So you have to dress the part. You have to be in certain uniform or whatever. Just like when I come to the office, I'm always making sure I look sharp. We have casual Friday. I wear something different, tennis shoes, whatever. So I think,
by the way, I didn't make that rule.
Knowing when it's proper.
Okay.
All right, guys.
There was a lot of nonsensical things going down their week, so I had to narrow it down to one day a week.
Yeah. True that. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you joining the show every Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Our goal is to be on TV. So if you have a movie or a channel that you want to see, a movie channel. Oh my gosh. I was telling Carmenza yesterday, I said, man, if, cause I have group chats with some friends in the industry and we're always just, chit chatting away. And I was like, man, if we had a reality show, this would be good. Like this would be like Selling Sunset style, like good. But anyway, I think we could be in a show in itself, like just us in the office alone. But
with her.
Just with me and Desiree, and then they trying to get mad at us. But anyway, guys, we just want to thank you for always joining the show. We will see you next Friday, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Facebook, YouTube, and no, not on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the major platforms aside from Instagram. And we will see you guys on the next show.
Adios.